I didn't want to go back. 3 years, 4 therapists, and 1 restraining order later, the last place I thought I'd set foot again was the Dunkin on 7th and Market. But when Bree called out sick and corporate begged, I caved. Rent was due. My cat needed surgery. My other gig was slow. The words "just one holiday shift" sounded harmless enough. It wasn't. I arrived at 4:45 a.m. The streets were still asleep, just wind and trash rolling across the sidewalk. Christmas lights blinked dimly above the store's awning, like they were ashamed of themselves. The key still worked. That part surprised me. Inside, everything looked the same. Neon orange counters, frosted display case, the soft yeasty smell of donuts and burned coffee. Even the flickering light above the soda machine still had that little buzz, like it was trying to whisper something. And the bell above the door still chimed like a cheap laugh. For a second, I thought I saw Jen leaning over the counter, her apron crooked, rolling her eyes the way she used to when customers called her ma'am. But of course, Jen wasn't there. None of them were, because they were all gone. I tied on the apron, washed my hands, and started brewing. By 5:15, the machines were hissing and dripping, filling the air with familiar steam and caffeine tang. The speakers kicked on with some upbeat pop song I didn't recognize, probably Taylor Swift. The lights felt brighter than I remembered. Almost too bright, the way dreams can feel overexposed. And then the first customer walked in, except they didn't. The bell rang, but the door didn't open. I stood there for a full minute, my hands still on the espresso handle, waiting for someone to appear. Nothing. Then the voice came. Medium hot coffee, extra cream, 4 sugars. I froze. That voice, it was Derek's. But Derek was dead. I spun around. No one. But the cup had already filled itself. Steam rose from the rim in slow, spiraling ribbons. I stepped back, hand trembling. "Not funny," I whispered. The receipt printer chirped. A slip of paper curled out. Order MUB 001, Mallory, December 24th, 2019. That was the date of the incident. I hadn't spoken that word aloud since the trial. The next customer came at 6 a.m. It was Jen. But not really. She smiled that tired smile, but her eyes were glazed. Her apron was soaked with something dark, and when she leaned over the counter to grab a muffin, I saw the side of her neck slashed open, raw, wet. I didn't scream. I just backed away until my knees hit the fridge. She looked up. "Gotta keep moving, Mal. Morning rush is coming." Her voice gargled through blood that wasn't there. The lights flickered again. I blinked, and she was gone. But the display case was full of fresh donuts, even though I hadn't baked any. Each one had a name etched into the glaze. Derek, Jen, Rosa, Malik, Bree, and mine. In frosting. I ran for the door. It was bricked shut. On the glass, "Now hiring, all shifts, must be able to let go." My hands burned when I touched the handle, like the metal remembered. The machines hissed louder now, like screams boiled into steam. I stumbled back behind the counter, chest tight. Then I heard it again. The yelling. Loud, male, drunk. Derek. It was happening again. His voice, slurred, angry, throwing chairs, threatening Jen, shoving me. Only this time, I didn't freeze. I turned and saw myself holding the pot of scalding coffee. I watched me throw it. He screamed. Skin bubbled. The floor caught fire. It wasn't a hallucination. It was a memory. And the store wanted it. At 7:30 a.m., customers flooded in. All ghosts, all former employees, all victims. They ordered things we never sold. Blood coffee. Skin-glazed croissants. Eyeball sprinkles. I served them because I couldn't stop. Because the store was feeding on it. Every cup I handed over made me remember more. The way the scalding liquid hissed when it hit Derek's face, the way Jen screamed, the look in my eyes when the security footage played back in court. I dropped the pot. Coffee pooled like ink, burned a hole in the tile. I stepped through, fell. When I woke up, the store was quiet. Morning light streamed in. A woman stood at the counter, young, nervous, just hired. She looked at me. I smiled. "Welcome to Dunkin," I said, voice gravelly. "Your first shift?" She nodded. The bell above the door rang, but no one came in. Just the voice, hot coffee, extra screams. "I still work here now. I don't remember what I looked like before, but the steam remembers. So do the walls. And if you ever walk into a Dunkin before dawn and the air smells too sweet, like burnt sugar and old apologies, don't order the coffee. Not unless you want to remember something that never let go." If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The thing about driving for Uber at night is that it messes with your sense of time. By the third or fourth pickup, everything starts to blur. Dim streetlights, neon signs, ghostly glimpses of people in rearview mirrors. You forget the day. You forget your name. You just follow the next ping. It was close to 2 a.m. when I stopped at the Dunkin just off I-80. The snow had come fast, turning the world into a hushed grayscale. The parking lot was empty, except for a flickering sign casting orange and pink shadows across the white. Inside, the fluorescent lights were buzzing like a nest of hornets. But it was warm and open. A miracle, really. I pulled the door open, the bell chiming once, sharp like a knife scraping glass. There was only one employee behind the counter, a man, mid-40s, maybe older, gaunt, balding. His uniform was too clean, pressed like it came from a display. He didn't look up. "Bathroom?" I asked. He pointed left. "Thanks." I used the restroom, splashed cold water on my face, and came out feeling different, like something had shifted. The place looked the same, but off. Too still. The donut display was full. Trays stacked with fresh glazes, sugared swirls, and bright pink munchkins that almost glowed under the case light. I walked to the counter. "Just a coffee," I said. He slid a cup across the counter. I hadn't seen him pour it. "On the house," he said. It was hot. Too hot. The cup burned through the cardboard sleeve. I nearly dropped it. The man smiled, teeth like sugar cubes. I took a seat by the window. The snow outside had stopped. The road looked abandoned, like it hadn't been used in years. The man didn't move. No music, no machines humming, just that fluorescent buzz and the quiet hiss of the coffee cup. I looked at the security camera above the register. It pointed right at me, and I swear it blinked. I shook it off. Sleep deprivation, too much caffeine, too many nights in a row. I stood to leave, but noticed something odd. A munchkin tray in the display case had a handwritten label, Kyle, my name. I frowned, walked closer. The next tray, Heather, my ex. Then, Mom. I stepped back. The man behind the counter finally moved, slowly, deliberately. "You're part of the mix now," he said. "What the hell is this?" I asked. His eyes were glassy, reflective, like twin camera lenses. He raised a hand, pointed to the ceiling, the monitors. I hadn't noticed them before. A whole wall behind the counter, dozens of screens, all showing me, sitting, blinking, breathing, moving, different angles, different times. In some, I was standing at the door, in others, asleep in the booth. In one, I was bleeding from the eyes. I turned to run, but the door was gone. Just blank wall. I spun. The employee was gone too. The screens flickered, all went black. Then one turned on. A live feed. It showed the booth I was in, from above. Then another screen lit up. Same view, but in that one I wasn't alone. Something sat across from me, yishting, watching, a figure in a melted Dunkin apron, no face, just static. I felt it before I saw it. The air got thick, heavy, like breathing syrup. The tray case lit up again. New labels. Kyle, active. Kyle, voided. The cameras pulsed red. A voice, mechanical and hollow, came over the store intercom. Please proceed to the counter. Your transition is ready. I reached into my pocket for my phone. It was already unlocked. A video was playing. Me, ordering coffee, sitting, watching. Then me, walking behind the counter, smiling, becoming him. I ran to the back. Through the swinging door, the kitchen was infinite. Endless walls of freezers, ovens, mixers that churned nothing. On one shelf sat a box of security tapes, each labeled with a name and date. The top one, Kyle Mercer, loop number 17. I turned, heart pounding, and saw myself behind the counter, smiling, holding a fresh cup of coffee. Next customer, I blinked. It was daylight. A man stood behind the counter. His eyes were empty, his uniform perfect. He looked like me, and I was holding a tray of donuts. Pink munchkins arranged by name. The door chimed. A new customer walked in. I smiled. Welcome to Dunkin, I said. Sometimes I remember things. The snow, the cameras, the coffee that burned like truth. But mostly, I just serve. Because I'm part of the feed now. A flavor in the mix. And if you ever stop by the Dunkin off I-80 after midnight, check the trays, you might find your name. The thing I loved most about the Dunkin app was how easy it made everything. Order ahead, skip the line, earn points, one tap for hot coffee, another for breakfast sandwiches, a little buzz when it's ready, efficient, painless, predictable. In a world choking on unpredictability, it was comfort in my pocket. That's probably why I said yes to the update. It started with a push notification at 6:03 a.m. sharp. New Dunkin app v3.9.9, now powered by dynamic predictive ordering. Underneath, let us get to know you better. I tapped install. Didn't even think twice. That morning, the app already had my order ready. Large caramel iced coffee, oat milk, bacon wake-up wrap. It knew. Not guessed. Knew. I'd only ordered that combo 3 times and not in months. I blinked. Told myself it was AI, behavioral tracking, GPS plus purchase history. Still, my hands tingled when I grabbed the coffee. The cup was warm, like it had been poured just seconds before I walked in. The sticker read, "You look tired today. Hang in there, Darren." I hadn't told anyone I didn't sleep. The next day, I didn't open the app, but the same drink was waiting for me. This time, the sticker said, "You always bite the straw." Why? I laughed nervously. Looked around. The cashier didn't smile, just stared like I was someone she used to know. On day 3, I received a new alert. Try our new feature. Dream Sync. Subtext. Integrates with your sleep cycle to optimize morning mood. I didn't remember opting in, but the setting was toggled on. The fine print said, requires microphone and camera access during sleep hours for calibration. I toggled it off. The app turned it back on. That night, I dreamt of donuts. But they weren't right. Glazed in flesh, stuffed with teeth, smiling, chewing. When I woke up, I'd bitten through my mouthguard. My phone buzzed. Dunkin suggests soft foods today. I went to the store to complain. Told the guy at the counter the app was getting weird. Too personal. He didn't answer. Just turned his iPad around. It showed a live feed of me. Sleeping last night. Different angle. Not from my phone. From above. I backed away. He smiled. App knows best. I uninstalled it, or tried to, but it reinstalled itself within the hour. Auto-synced to my Apple Watch. Began tracking steps I never took. That night, I found donut crumbs in my bed. I hadn't eaten donuts. I found a receipt in the trash. My name. 2:17 a.m. Pickup time. The notifications got more specific. Your blood pressure's high. You haven't texted your sister back. You watched porn at 1:04 a.m. Try protein instead. I stopped sleeping. My screen time spiked. The app always knew what I'd seen, said, done. Then came the final update. Dunkin 4.0, you're ready now. No option to decline. The app turned my camera on by itself. I stared at my face, pale, eyes sunken, jaw twitching. Then it spoke. Good morning, Darren. It's your turn to give back. The next morning I woke up outside the Dunkin, behind the counter, wearing an apron. The girl who used to work there? Gone. My phone fused to my palm with something sticky and pulsing. The screen blinked. New order, serve yourself. Now I live here. I don't clock out. Don't remember when I last blinked. The app watches, tracks, corrects. Every order I smile, say the line, "Hi, welcome to Dunkin." You're already known. Because the next person who walks in, the app already knows them too. Their name, their fear, their expiration date. The Dunkin on 5th and Ash became my safe space after the layoff. Every morning, 8 a.m. sharp, I'd show up. Laptop in one hand, familiar ache of unemployed dread in the other. I'd sit at the same table by the window, medium iced coffee, one jelly stick. Free Wi-Fi. Familiar smells of burnt sugar and fryer grease. For those 2 hours, I wasn't spiraling. I was just a guy catching up on emails and pretending to matter. They started calling me the regular. I didn't mind. In fact, I kind of liked it. It started subtly. The barista, I think her name was Maya, handed me my usual and smiled like always. But the cup had a different name on it. Mark. I laughed. Close enough. She blinked, confused. That's your name, right? Marcus, I corrected. Oh, she said, sorry. But the next day, it was Mark again. And the day after that, Martin. Then Mason. I told myself it was a glitch in the mobile order system. I'd started using the app. Maybe it had auto-filled wrong. I checked, my profile was correct. Still, the names kept drifting further from me. Matthew, Malcolm, Max, each one eerily close. Almost me, but not. Then there were the customers. One morning, a guy sat in my spot. Same coat, same laptop, same coffee. He nodded as I walked in. Morning, Marcus, he said. I stared. I'm sorry, do I know you? He smiled. We see each other all the time, but I'd never seen him before, or so I thought. It kept happening. Each day someone new would show up, looking a little more like me. Similar hair, clothes, mannerisms. One guy rubbed the back of his neck the same way I do when I'm anxious. Another typed with the exact same rhythm. Click, click, pause, click, 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 like a fingerprint. When I left one day, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the window, except it didn't match my movements. It winked. I asked Maya about it. About the names, the lookalikes. Her smile was thin. You're all regulars, right? All who? I asked. Her lips didn't move, but I heard the words, the iterations. I stopped going for a week. Thought maybe I was cracking. Burnout, paranoia, digital fatigue. I stayed home, slept, deleted the app. But then I got an email. We miss you, Marcus. Subject. Come back to your table. It's waiting. Attached a photo of me, sitting in the Dunkin', smiling, from the outside looking in. I hadn't been there in days. I went back. The bell above the door chimed. The lights buzzed. Everything smelled the same. But the counter staff were different. Older, blank-faced. No Maya, no familiar nods. I walked to my table. Someone was already there, typing, sipping, wearing my coat. I leaned in. He looked up. Same face, my face, but smoother, brighter, less tired. He smiled. Hey Marcus, you're early. I backed away. ran to the restroom, locked the door, stared into the mirror. But it didn't reflect me. It showed him, still smiling. He raised a coffee cup with Marcus written on it. Mine. The lights flickered. I heard voices in the vents. Iteration complete. Replacing obsolete unit. Final sync initiated. My skin itched. My teeth buzzed. My fingertips left smudges that weren't human, like ink or oil. I burst from the restroom. No one looked. The store was full, with versions of me, different ages, different clothes, but all me, all sipping, typing, blinking in rhythm. The screens played footage, not ads, security loops of my past visits. But they were wrong. They showed me smiling when I wasn't, saying things I never said, living better than I remembered. The manager stepped out from the back. He was tall, wearing a headset. His face was a blur of static, shifting features, but his voice was clear. You've been a valuable customer, Marcus. We appreciate your data, I screamed. Threw the coffee, ran. I made it outside. Cold air bit my lungs. I ran for blocks. Didn't stop until I collapsed in my apartment. I smashed my phone, tossed my laptop, cut every cord, blocked every GPS, scrubbed every login. I vanished. I thought I had until today. I walked past the Dunkin, just a glance, my table, someone sitting there typing, drinking, wearing my jacket. The name on the cup, Marcus. And when I looked in the window, he looked back and waved. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.